So yeah, in terms of living in this messy, hurtful, often suffering-ridden world, and increasingly so lately, it's very hard to feel that a lot of the time. I guess I would say or suggest, though, that there are those glimpses that we get of it. And I think it's just kind of a matter of a shift in perspective and situating those moments in their kind of cosmic context. Maybe it is just a great conversation. Maybe it's a really, really good first date. Maybe it's a delicious meal, or a beautiful vista, or a really refreshing hike, or whatever it is, something that brings you in touch with existence in a way that energizes you, that feels like flourishing, that feels like richness and the stuff of life. And those all might seem rather disparate, but like maybe the most obvious would be the relational things. But when I am energized by a delicious meal, that is, again, me fueling my well-being, relating to the rest of the world in such a way that like taps me into existence in a way that increases my viability, but also puts, how would I say, the collectivity of the world into me, which is going to sound really ridiculous and unnecessarily mystical. But all I mean by that is, if we can see what is really going on, then it's not just a sort of momentary gratification or pleasant experience. It's actually framed in a much bigger scope. When you eat that delicious meal, where did the tomatoes come from that's in the sauce? And, you know, especially if it's a really, really good meal and maybe that pasta's homemade, you know, like where did the ingredients come from that? And what was the nature of the person kneading that dough out and straining it into, you know, pasta strands? And the experience there is actually a collection of all this complexity that is felt as good, not as an accident, but because you're actually touching that element of existence, right? You're engaging with the complexity. Your body wants that. It brings a kind of richness or fullness. And similarly, you know, you go for a hike and okay, you're just looking out on mountains, but your body wants that. You feel right in that space. It connects to something that is of desire for you. So I'm, yeah, maybe extending this out too much, but I guess I'm just trying to say that those seemingly kind of disconnected or fleeting, maybe even seemingly inconsequential experiences of some degree of uplift or joy or happiness are indicators of this good that you are attracted to. And if you can see it in those terms, then a lot of this framing can come out of that. And when you start to see it more in these terms, that itself is experienced as a good, because you're getting a bigger frame on things and you're seeing things more comprehensively. It's like the theoria, it's the seeing through your experience to much more that's there. And I think one of the biggest challenges for us, especially when we get into routines and if there's a lot of our lived environment that is not geared towards those aspects of ourselves that put us in connection to these things, then we can kind of deaden our senses and we can be sort of myopic and overly focused on just what needs to happen or the rote thing or doing your drudgery for your job or this or that. But when you do, even in those contexts, get those glimpses of, oh, that opens me, or that feels good. That's the kind of thing that I want. I want more of that in my life. Like those are cues, they're signs, they're indicators. Like that's information about like what's actually something of more significance and meaning and value. So I would suggest trying to use those and build on them and to try to expand that way of seeing, so that you can find more and more avenues to have that touch point in that way. And Sometimes that will mean getting the hell out of Dodge because you're not going to find it where you are. Sometimes it means finding it exactly where you are because it's not about where you are, it's about how you're seeing where you are. When you can see that these moments or experiences that we do have of this goodness that we connect with, that we resonate with, when you can situate that as part of this whole complex tapestry of this evolutionary process that transfigures the way you understand your experience, you know? It's not just I'm a meat sack wandering through space and I have some evolutionary drives and desires, you know? It's I am experiencing the pleasure that is born out of billions of years of evolution by continuously tracking with what is what is in service to the well-being and flourishing of beings and contexts in this universe, something like that. And that just, I think, really shifts how you think about even those maybe rare experiences of that kind of pleasure or joy. Anyway, that's my thought about that.